Hello. So today we're going to be very productive and we're going to work on my webtoon episode 10. Go check it out, link in the description. But today is Tuesday and I usually, at least like since 2 weeks ago, I was like, I need to start posting webtoons every Wednesday because I need to be more consistent and I have time now so I can be consistent. So first things first, my webtoons are like illustrated poems, and I write all my poems and like songs and stuff in this little notebook that I got for free. There was an offer going on for these, like, I don't even say it. I'll put the name right here, but I really like these notebooks as like sketchbooks or journals, and they were having a sale or like a deal where you can get one and get like a small one for free. So this is the one I got for free. I just write like all my little poems and ideas. I have these tabs like that indicate if I haven't finished writing it, if it's a song or if it's like a poem. And I wrote one the other day right here, and that's where I usually start. I look for one of the poems I've written or like a recent one I've written, and then I just like translate it into a webtoon. So I usually do all my illustration work on like my iPad on Procreate, and then I just airdrop it to my computer, and I use a website to like crop everything so that it's easily uploaded to webtoon, if that makes sense. I'll show you guys very soon.
So, since I'm working on Procreate, it's a lot easier for me to organize all my webtoons into a specific folder. So here they are all together. And I like working with a 3000 by 3000 pixel square just because I like the crop of the square, and it's easier for me to post my illustrations on TikTok and Instagram in the end. After I get this square, I decide on a background color, and I chose green for this webtoon because it's going to be about being a tree, metaphorically, basically reflecting on the idea that maybe we're just supposed to take things slowly and grow slowly like a tree, even if it seems like we are behind in life. As for my brushes, I mainly use Spectra to make my illustrations, and I like it because I can get a lot of variety with the lines. Especially with like the pressure, I guess. So you'll see a difference if I'm like lightly um, applying pressure, or like if I'm doing medium pressure for shading and stuff. I don't know, I could just get a lot of control with this brush for illustrations. For my actual, like the words that I write, I use the 6B pencil, and I edited it to make a darker version, and the only difference is that the texture is just is different. But I switch back and forth between like the original 6B pencil and the one that I edited. Oh no. But yeah, those are two solid brushes. Here is my first illustration. Sometimes I make a rough sketch of the shapes that I want, and then I put the opacity down so that I can make a cleaner drawing on a new layer. So that sketch is on the bottom layer with the opacity down, and then I draw on top on a new layer. And in the end, I just combine the full illustration onto one layer. But for now, I like working with multiple layers just so when I mess up, I can go back and rearrange things how I want. And in this case, since I wanted to shade in a bigger area, I used the selection tool to just trace like the outline and then color inside, just so I don't go outside the lines when I'm shading or when I'm coloring. And usually I just shade on top without using the selection tool, but that's a cool little tip for me. Here I'm just writing the first line of my poem, and when I'm drawing, I mentally map out where I want the words to go, and then I just adjust my writing with the selection tool from there. Here is a little speed run, and I thought the tree looked like broccoli, so I changed the background color to a different green. After I get all my little parts. I select all my layers and then I move it to a 16,000 by 12,000 pixel strip. And I just use the same little credit slide at the end of each of my webtoons. So I just copy that layer over from a previous episode and then I put it into my new one. And then from here, I just move all my illustrations into order. And then I deal with like the rearranging later on. And while I'm putting everything in order, if I realize that I need more space or if it's going to be cramped or it's not like the spacing isn't working out as I want it to, then I'll just duplicate the file and place half of the illustrations on one strip and then the rest of the illustrations on the duplicated strip. All I have to do now is rearrange my spacing. So like I'll move my text around and I'll keep in mind the pacing of the story as people are going to be scrolling down to read it and I want like there to be an effect, if that makes sense, as you're reading, or have time for you or like readers to kind of think about the story as they're reading it or scrolling. And then when I'm done with the finished strips, I airdrop them to this website called Croppy, and it crops all the strips perfectly for the Webtoon website. Now, welcome to the behind the scenes of uploading a Webtoon. So I just use a screenshot of an illustration from like what I drew as a cover photo, and then I upload all the cropped images to be posted. Okay, I made a mistake. Last time I said it was Tuesday, but it was actually Monday, but today is actually Tuesday. But I finished basically editing the video that you just saw. So here's a little outro. I was gonna say disclaimer that there's probably a much easier way to do this whole entire process, but I was like, I don't know, this is how I started and what I'm used to. So I'm just gonna keep going with it. And I personally like the quality of like the pixel size that I already use, so I'm just gonna stick with it. By the time you're watching this, Wednesday has already passed, so go check out the webtoon. And then if you have any questions, just let me know, because when I was starting out, like when I wanted to make my own webtoon and stuff, I was like, this is so overwhelming and difficult, but I promise once you actually get started, you'll be fine, which is basically for any creative work or any type of work you're doing. If you just start, even if you are starting with like a little bit of research, it's fine. What matters is that you started and then you can work with that. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye bye.